Hey guys, Dr. Lee here from Head to Toe. We're just going to go over our CrossFit Open 19.4 workout, pre-workout, and post-workout. All right. So today, for this lift, this time around, we have bar muscle-ups, we have snatches, and we have lots of burpees. Not necessarily in that order, but you guys can handle that on your own. So what we want to do here, we want to loosen a few things up, just like we have been in the past. What I want you to do is reference that video from last week, hit that lat just before you do anything overhead. Anytime you're going to do overhead exercise, that's definitely a muscle that you're going to want to loosen up. But today we're going to go over something a little bit new. So things that we want to center around are our rectus abdominis origin point right here. So right where our ribs and our abdominals start to come together. So not in the center, we don't want to touch that xiphoid process, we want to go just to the side. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab our rock ball here. We're going to take it, we're going to place it right on that origin point. And what we want to do is just lay on the ground or use the wall like so. So if we use the wall like this, it's kind of easier. We can get our hips under us, we can kind of posteriorly rotate our pelvis, we can anteriorly rotate, kind of mobilize that stuff a little bit, or we can just lay flat on the ground if you'd like. Next one we're going to go with is to loosen up this serratus anterior. So the serratus anterior is this muscle that's right in your armpit, just below the armpit. It's tight in a lot of people. It tends to be that muscle that, like if we're driving a lot or we're doing a lot of stuff on the computer, tends to tighten up and gets really, really tense. So what you're going to want to do, I like to use a soft medicine ball. This one has a bunch of sand in it. It conforms to my ribs rather than the lacrosse ball, which is going to be a little unforgiving in that spot. If you don't have one of these at your disposal, a tennis ball is going to be perfect. So again, we're just going to find a nice tender spot. We're going to put the ball right there. We're going to lay right on our side here. So putting all our body weight into this area, I feel a little bit of tension, but if I want to add a little bit more, what I can do is just dig my foot into the ground and just kind of push towards the ball. And that's just going to add a little bit more pressure onto that spot. So I'm going to hold this just like the rectus abdominis release point. We're going to hold this for 1 to 2 minutes. After that, we're going to notice it's either going to loosen up, that tension's going to go away, or we're just going to have to go on to the next muscle. You don't want to kill this. You don't want to spend 3 to 5 minutes here because it'll be sore for that workout and ultimately going to loosen things up too much. You're not going to get the result that you want. So after we loosen up those 3 points there, we're going to go right to some activators. So we got a few good activators here. We're going to be doing some snatches, so that means that we're going to be grabbing the bar from the floor. We're going to want to go into extension from there, and that's going to make our erectors here and our core have to stay intact and have to communicate with one another. Great exercise for that is going to be a bird dog. So bird dog, we're going to be on our hands and knees here. We want our hands to be right under our shoulders. We want our knees right under our hips here. We're going to keep a good tilt in our pelvis here so that we can flatten out our lower back. We're going to pull our belly button in, and we're going to extend our opposite arm, opposite leg. So when we do this, we don't want to hyperextend like this. We want to actually just flatten our back out. It's pretty much like there's a line between our hand and our heel. When I do this for myself, I try to lengthen everything. Like I'm lengthening my arm and my leg at the same time while maintaining that core continuity. So I'll go one more on each side here. Next one here that we're going to want to go with is going to be a squat to toe exercise. This is going to simulate that explosion phase on that snatch. So what I'm going to go into here is I'm going to go to a squat first, where I'm going to keep my feet about hip width. You don't want a super wide stance because you're not going to do that with the snatch. We're going to pull our belly button in, keep a good posterior tilt. We're going to reach back with our glutes, and then what we're going to do is explode up to our toes and catch ourselves down. It's a little bit of a plyometric. Nice little warm-up exercise to kind of get the anterior chain and the posterior chain connected with one another. Just don't want super hyper-extensive movements here. That's going to take a lot of energy out of our low back. It's going to just make it so that we can't handle that entire workout, which we don't want. So next stuff we're going to do here, we're going to go right to our lat and just loosen up our muscles after we're done with that workout. So we're going to take our foam roller here. We're going to attack this portion of our lat right there. We're just going to lay right on the foam roller itself. So with that diving into my armpit here, what I'm going to do is I like to just let this foam roller sink in, especially after a workout. It's going to help loosen things up right away rather than me just rolling and just trying to hammer it out and not responding. So once this lat's loosened up a little bit, it's accepting the foam roller. It's just going to start to add a little bit of these short rocks back and forth. before eventually evolving into a little bit of a long run, all the way down. That lat starts at our hips, extends all the way up to your shoulder joint. So you just want to kind of push out that lactic acid, help your body recover a little bit more. So with the foam roller, we're still going to use this for another exercise here. I actually like to, from here we're just going to go into a thread the needle maneuver, which we're going to place the foam roller to our side here. We're going to get in that same stance that we were in for our bird dog exercise, except the only thing is we're going to thread the needle here. So we're going to take our arm, pass it underneath our other arm. We're going to use that foam roller to glide through into some rotation. Once we feel a nice little stretch on that lat, we're going to come right back. So we're stretching out here, and then pulling right back to center. If you really want to, you don't even have to use the foam roller. You can kind of just dive through and then open up, do a full range, do a full rotation here. It's not wrong. I just want to hit the other side as well. The main objective while you do this thread the needle exercise is that you keep your hips facing forward. You don't want them to dive side to side. What we're doing here is we're trying to promote a little bit more rotation, since after we smack those lats with all those other exercises that we're about to do, we just want them to loosen up. We want that lactic acid to get pushed out. That way we can recover, and hopefully we can hit 19.5 next week. So if you guys got any questions, feel free to hit us up at Head to Toe. Right now we are running a little bit of a portal for our patients, but it's in the works that we're going to start developing one for CrossFit specific patrons. So if you got any questions about that, feel free to call.